impression of it is really very good. It does feel strong. It feels like it's well made. I don't have any issues so far with anything which just feels too flimsy. Well, the metal work is pretty heavy duty. There are drum mowers which are a lot cheaper. I mean, this one, purchase price, you're probably looking at about £3,000. There's certainly cheaper drum mowers available on the market, but I'm not convinced that they actually sort of match the standard of this Kuhn. We've had no problems at all, say, in the 3 years that we've had it, and maintenance on it is quite easy. If you've not had a drum mower before and you're thinking about whether to get a drum mower or a disc mower, the reason we went for a drum mower is drum mowers tend to be slightly slower, but they do tend to be a little bit more robust. The drums themselves and the saucers, they sort of ride over let's say issues a little bit better than discs do. What we don't want is high speed, but also greater cost in terms of maintenance. So a damaged bed on a mower would be a bit of a disaster for us, really. Whereas if this happens to catch any little, I don't know, little stumps or rocks, anything like that, it tends to just ride over. And the worst that you suffer really is a blunt or a damaged blade. So that's why I've gone for a drum mower. A PZ 190 is about 1.85 or 190 centimetres wide cut, and that's adequate for what we want. We do have some ridge and furrow here as well, and it does sort of ride over those quite nicely. In terms of operation, very easy. It's quite easy to set up. The main thing is that when you're actually mowing is you drop that part there over, and that allows it to float. It's hanging off a fairly substantial spring, and then it's just a matter of trying to get it set forward enough for what you're doing. So if you're looking for quite a close cut, I just adjust the top link to bring the mower, tip it slightly forward. If you overdo it, you just end up with grass flying out of the back, and you really don't want that. But if you set it too far back, equally you can find that you're not getting a good enough cut. When you set off, start the new season, you just need to tighten the belts in there. That there has to go down to about 1 millimetre off the bottom, so it goes just about all the way down. Setting it on the machine is straightforward. Other than a tractor of this size, there's a danger that what actually happens is that the mower itself will catch on the wheel. You can see there's a little mark there. That's where it's been rubbing. So what you can get is an extension piece that sits on there, which we haven't got. But all I do instead is just adjust in here to push the arms over a little bit more. So that just pushes the mower across a bit, and that creates enough room. And then I don't, when you set the hydraulics, I tend not to set it to come too far up. I set it to just skim over the top of the grass when you lift out of work. Otherwise, that makes it likely to hit the tyres as well. Smaller tractors, it wouldn't be a problem, I doubt. It's just this one's just very marginal in that respect. But in terms of output, we usually find you can go fast. There's no point in me saying how fast, because it all depends on the crop. But you can certainly press on with them, and you can press on with that little bit of extra confidence as well that you're not going to probably do too much damage. It does have a breakback system there, which as you swing the mower around, sits on there, and if you do happen to hit something a bit solid, the mower just swings back. So it swings back really from its its work position back to something like that. I have done it once on the old mower that we had, the Kverland. Everything rattles a little bit. You have to stop the PTO shaft quite quickly. You really don't want to do it too often, but all you actually have to do then is just lift up, reverse, and the mower will just click back into position. I think that's sort of the highlights of what we got here. As I say, as a mower, I think it's a good buy. I do tend to look after these as well, so there is another video which shows some of the maintenance work that we do before winterization, and by keeping these in pretty good order, they should retain the value quite well. My approach with these is to try and buy good and keep it for a long time, because inflation usually sorts everything out anyway. But I think that's the highlights. Unlike the Kverland, this one is a lot easier to fix a PTO shaft when the mower is in the transport position like that, and then it will just when you swing it round into the work position, everything just works okay, and vice versa. With the Kverland, I actually had to put the PTO shaft in the back of the cab to transport it, whereas this just connects it straight up and away you go. So, and there is plenty of adjustment in here as well, depending on what you actually want, but I just find that having the pin in one location each year works absolutely fine. Again, there's more adjustment in these areas. Just to run through some of the grease nipples as well, it's not excessive, more or less what you expect. Greasing probably takes, another one up there, probably takes about 2-3 minutes, and I don't think there's anything on here which is really difficult to access. So as I say, I think maintenance is really quite straightforward. So we just keep the grease topped up in there. Main thing is to make sure you've got the mower level when you're checking that. I do find it does make a little bit more noise than the Kverland. You know, sometimes I worry whether or not there is enough grease in it, but there is. So it is a little bit noisy, whether it's because it hasn't had a massive amount of work and everything's just sort of bedding in. But if you're doing any sort of area, I do find I need to shut the back window. In terms of swinging it across, very high-tech rope. Pull that, it lifts the pin, I don't know if you can see at the far end there, and then just swing round. So for one person, it's very easy to do, and again, I think this is easier than the Kverland to swing across. It just seems better balanced. It swings a lot easier. It's actually easier as you swing it round and you are connecting the brake back in position. It just seems to work a lot better. It seems to be set a bit easier. So I think that's about it. As I say, when you're in work, just lift that over. If there's one thing, I do think that is quite tight to knock across. Sometimes I have to hit that with a hammer to get it to drop over. But I think that is about it. As I say, as a mower, I think it's a good buy. It will certainly have a second-hand value in future, and reliability has been spot on. We've never overloaded it, not burned out any belts. The drums all feel strong enough. Maintenance with the blades is relatively easy, a little bit fiddly, but quite straightforward. I don't see there being any sort of major cost issues associated with this, so I hope you found that of interest, and we'll see you on the next video.